Okay, proclamations, there is none. Audience, anybody in the audience want to speak to something that's not on the agenda? And I see 3 people not rising, so we'll go from there. Okay, department head reports. First is building and zoning.
Hello. Don't have a whole lot new going on. I guess I just wanted to give some numbers quickly of kind of last year, a little quick rundown. Did a quick count today, and it looks like we had 15 new houses last year, duplex, the daycare, and also we permitted for the gymnasium renovation there at the Kennedy campus. And just recently we permitted for the market suites at the Wahoo super location, so we got that going here. Hopefully before too long you'll see people start moving in there. With the daycare, we just recently gave an occupancy on that. They're opening, they were saying May originally. I think maybe they bumped that up a little bit sooner now though. So they'll be having children there and taking care of them. The suites also up at the Kennedy campus, South Hall. I think some of you was up there for and toured those. Those turned out pretty good. A couple things need to be finished up for those, but temporary occupancy had been given. Fire marshal gave his blessing, so I think actually a couple of those have already been rented out. So those shaped up pretty good. Otherwise, I think the weather, everyone's staying busy, and permitted for another house today, or a townhouse actually. So I think if the weather holds on, you'll start seeing a lot more activity as well. Projects being finished up and new ones starting. So other than that, we're kind of, you're aware of the other subdivision processes and everything that we've been going through, and so hopefully it keeps on going. I don't know if you got any questions for me or anything that I didn't touch on.
The developer working down here at the, I could still call it the grocery store project. Has he said anything more about phase 2 up there, or are we going to hold off on that?
I think he was waiting to kind of get that all completed and get started on market suites, and then bring the stuff back for phase 2 and look at that. Yep. Kind of want to get some fires put out and regroup, I think. So, but yeah, it'll be coming back around, I believe.
How did that work last year for you for vacation time? Did you work with the county to try to switch times, or how did that work?
No, so Dave Hinkey
Dave worked?
came on working part-time for the utilities, and it's worked really well. He's filled in for me for inspections and stuff.
Dave's been good.
Yeah, it's worked out really good. He went with me on some inspections, and yeah, it's when I've been gone or want to leave early or whatever, he stepped in there.
And that's your plan for 26?
I think we'll just stay with that same process. Instead of having someone full-time, he's usually around, and it works pretty good as far as letting him know ahead of time, and he kind of knows the whole process of documentation and all that, so I feel confident when I leave for the most part, and he's not afraid to ask me questions, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
And on the back side, on the record management side of things, we have a process established where he turns in his timesheet and we create the reimbursement, and so utilities are being reimbursed for Dave's time because they cover his time 100%. So
Perfect.
yeah, it seems to be working for him. And Dave has actually even helped on some other city projects, like he's working with the Library Foundation on the renovation here. He's helped me with some potential revisions to like our infrastructure standards that, so it's been good.
Good. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Police department.
Hello. You guys got my report there?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, nice. I figured did everybody get to take a look at it before you got here tonight? Mm-hmm. You can see that the numbers, if you guys compared them to the report last year, because I used some of them the same, some some of the numbers were a little different, and you're like, well, why was it different? Well, because what we did is we went from, October to October. We had a new CAD system, we started up in a new database, for our records management system, we started in October. We went live on it, and the two systems don't match, so it just made it more practical to go from October to October, so that's why there's maybe some difference in some of the numbers. But they're all, pretty similar. As far as like drug arrests, they were pretty steady, 67 to 71 in drug arrest. We had, you know, I think the 3 years that I've been here, you know, cause I started 2022, we were at like 80, 67, 71, those 3 years. You know, you go to the 3 years before me, they were down around 12 and 9, 10. And I don't know if that was just a difference in styles and things that we were doing. One of the things I'll point out though too, it doesn't reflect it on the stuff, but we had some officers that did a really good job identifying these offenders early, and they really noticed a big drop off sort of when that Facebook stuff started hitting. You know, we did really see a lot of people move out of town, and really it has dropped off a lot. So I don't know, these numbers may take a big dip next year if they continue like they've been lately. Still get some people drifting through at nights and whatnot. As far as incidents were real steady. You know, 30, what did we get, about 3,400 this year, 3,400 last year, 3,200 the year before. I think back in the 3 years before my time arrival, once again, it could have been reported because back in, I think, 2019, they were going into a new database center at that time too. Well, they only reported like 1,100 calls for service that time, and then it went to 27, 28. So they're up a little bit since I've been chief. Citations, pretty steady, 709 citations, versus, I think they averaged about 330 over the 3 years before my arrival. They were a little different, and we did lose one of our heaviest ticket writers, police officers, to the sheriff, so he moved over. He's still in the area, but he's over there now. And so there was a big drop off when, in that time frame, if you look at last year, when I reported last year, there's a little difference in that time frame. What else? Canine deployments, we were up a little bit, but nothing too drastic than the year before. And it might have been the 1 year we were really short, and I was busier on other stuff than maybe doing officer-initiated stuff with the canine. Some of the other things we kind of started up in the last year, Coffee with a Cop. Alan O'Sullivan is going around, and he's been going to the nursing homes and been having coffee with the cops, or having coffee with the people. It's going really good. He's kind of got a little gimmick now where he goes up and gives a little presentation, asks questions for him, you know, talks about scams. I think next one he's gonna maybe give out some awards to some people, maybe some older officers, and bring them up to come up and talk. Kevin Stukin holds his, he's doing our problem solving, he's working with the problem solving court for us. If you guys aren't familiar with that, it's the judge, the district court judge, Judge Merrickman. She's come up with this idea to work with like the more harder repeat offenders, and try to come up with solutions to keep them off court for the long, keep them out of the cycle, you know, break their cycle. We're working with them. Kevin's on that, handling that for us. He's also working up at the schools with the Wahoo Police Problem Solving Program. He just worked with the kids and come up with a real neat logo and stuff. We get it for t-shirts and stuff. Hopefully, get it coming out. I'll be posting that here sooner than later. I picture with him and the kids, or the teacher, the kids that designed it, they come up with their own design and stuff. So that's gonna be good. You can see we're still doing a lot of the same stuff I've done in previous years. Plan to continue to do it. Does anybody got any change as far as like, our staff or number of police officers we got? We've had, we lost one officer. I think he was in the news media when he got, picked up. I heard, I haven't confirmed, but I heard those charges in Lancaster were dropped against him. And some people have been asking me, oh, is he gonna come back if he, they get dropped in Pawnee City? And I said, no, we're not gonna hire him back. He resigned on his own accord. So if anybody asks you about that, you can let him know we won't be hiring back. Caleb Koala, real good proactive officer who worked the night shift. He's moved on as well. And we have Caden, we have a young man in the police academy now, so keep your fingers crossed. He graduates and comes out on top of that process. We have one current opening, and I do know we're expecting some changes. We got other officers have applied. Another officer's applied for the county, and we've got another officer's already bought a house in Georgia. He's gonna be moving to Georgia soon. So we got some people we're looking at. We had a guy that lives locally apply for a part-time position, or he's considered a part. Hit me up the other day, and I'm really trying to get him to just stay home and work, but we'll see if we can talk him into that, because he'd be a good asset if we could get him onto our police department. And he's been on about 3 years on another agency, so it'd be nice if he would come back here and work, because he'd be a great asset for us. Does anybody got any questions for me? Cruisers, I think as far as cruisers, we got 2 really good cruisers. We got a couple that are a little bit old, and the K9 cruiser's not that practical. I don't know, when we get enough, we'll get that thing replaced too, sooner than later, hopefully. The new building space. We got the move done. The parking lot's small. That's the one downsize. And it's tight in there. It's nice though too. I mean, I have an office for the first time in Wahoo by myself, so that's nice. Yeah, so it's nice. If you guys ever want to stop in and just check it out. It's kind of, we're doing our best.
It's working out okay though?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Some of the people are like, we talked to Ryan Kreitz, he's like, why would you move back? Yeah. So we got, and honestly with this new CAD system, you really almost need 2 monitors when you're doing stuff. One because we have to add all the people ourselves, and the data, they didn't transfer any names. So basically, every person that calls in to the police department, we had like 130,000 in the old one, and now we got 0. We started at 0. So
that didn't transfer over?
No, they didn't bring that data over. So it's
Wow.
so we're doing that, and it's slow, but it's nice that we can get 2 monitors for the guys to work on. And in the building, instead of having their own workspaces, we are sharing spaces. So, but does anybody got any questions for me?
I get questions from other people wondering how much space will you have in, and maybe you don't know this yet, how much space you'll have in the new public safety building?
When they rebuild it?
When
Or
they,
when they redo the remodel?
when the design is done, do you know yet how much space?
As much as we can get.
Well, I know that. Okay, I didn't.
No, I don't know. We haven't talked about that. We've bounced around ideas. We're still in the collecting information idea, and what.
I think there's, from an architectural standpoint, there are industry standards, like if you have a police force of this size, this is typically the square footage that you would need for managing that size. So there's formulas out there for doing celebration tomorrow to kick off the programming of the space, so. That's,
Thank you.
No, but back on that software, so the county did decide to change software, forced us to change it, and now you're manually entering. That sounds like a ton of information. Too bad there wasn't a way to automate
And
that.
we're learning how to do it, we're learning how to do it too,
Wow.
because, like, we're finding out all the time, like, when we make an arrest, we made, arrest the other night, for like, criminal impersonation. The statute wasn't entered in the backlog of it, so we had to come back and, okay, contact the people and say, hey, we gotta get this statute uploaded, and we gotta
Oh,
get that
okay.
statute up. You know, the
A
back
lot of
end of the
building.
stuff is still being worked out, and it's
Okay.
4 months in and having it, so, when I talked to the guy that did the training for us, I asked him, you know, well, how long do you expect it? And he said, well, when he was a police officer before, when we took him on, when we started it at our department, it was 3 years before they, connected to the state server. And I called some other agencies that used this previously, and they said they've never been able to do it. And I haven't found anybody in Nebraska that's been able to connect to the state computer system. Hopefully they work those problems out. There's some people I should mention too, like, I'm just very grateful for like Cheyenne over at the county, and some of the county ladies that are working this and getting this up, and they're working with Stephanie, our records clerk, who's kind of a computer gal too. And she's done an amazing job. It's every day, I think, you know, we're calling, hey, this, like a stop sign statute, wouldn't enter, you know, because for whatever reason, the correct statute hasn't been entered into state limits, you know, whatever. So there's just a lot of ins and outs on computer stuff that I don't quite understand, but Stephanie's been remarkable, and I was actually gonna write a commendation for her too, for all the work she's been doing, and it's been stressful, cause nobody's happy, you know, you're learning a new thing. Not only are we learning a new thing with the CAD system, the new CAD system doesn't have a way to do citations or accidents, so we're learning a new system in that as well. So it's a double whammy on us, and then we're moving the building, and
Yeah.
so everything. Well, it'll be interesting, to see how it turns out next year, you know, so,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, appreciate you guys.
You got anything?
no, I'm gonna, do a lot of talking later.
Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda.
Claims look good. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second that.
Got a motion second to approve the consent agenda. Any comments or questions? Roll call.
Creachy,
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay, public hearings and associated items. One, A, public hearing regarding the approval of the final plat for Dry Run Commons Phase 1. Open up the public hearing. Guess there's two of you that might be speaking on it. Are you speaking on that behalf?
I was told silence is my best weapon. I'm here unless there's questions.
Okay. Travis, you got any comments on it?
Nothing unless you get questions.
Okay. This is a formality.
Yeah.
This has been through planning's approved it. Nobody's got any motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Roll call on closing the public hearing.
Warford,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
And if this went through planning and they approved it, I don't see any issues. Unless anybody's got anything, I would say motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion to approve the final plat. Questions? Roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Second public hearing on rezoning application for Dry Run Commons Phase 1 to change zoning from ag to C2 commercial. Open up the public hearing. Any comments?
Did it die?
No, I just,
Well, you're supposed to do
There's
that
been
over
lots of
here,
improvements. Like the file wall open, so I can't see anything. But
Any
This
other
is
comments?
simple rezone, is this the same thing that we just approved the plat for, correct?
Yeah.
And we're changing it to commercial from ag, which fits with the planning we just did.
Ready to go.
Once again, this went through planning and everything's approved.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, it was discussed at planning commission. It is a request from C2, it fits with Casey's that's there. We went into a little bit other discussion as far as, we're working on talking about comprehensive plan and whatnot, because right now our future land use doesn't match that. But obviously, we've already got filling station there and whatnot, so as we look at our comprehensive plan, we'll be looking at changing that or whatnot. But everything was okayed by, or recommended by the planning commission.
Anything else? Motion to close public hearing.
Roll call, closing the public hearing?
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Preachy,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Motion introduced. Motion
Motion
to waive.
A motion and a second to approve the ordinance 20.
I appreciate it, but also.
Just keep.
Try to keep it easy for you.
Shane.
We're trying to keep it simple for you.
Yeah.
Second verse and third verse.
Say it first.
Easier for names are all the same.
No, probably
No.
not.
A little more difficult.
Okay, I have the motion to waive.
Okay, do we want to,
You have to roll call on the waiver.
okay, roll call on the waiver.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Preachy,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do final reading on the ordinance, 2495,
Okay.
roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Preachy,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
And I assume there's an actual ordinance somewhere for that. Again, I can't see it. There's a rezone app, but I can't open it. And I didn't see the ordinance actually anywhere.
I might have missed attaching that, I apologize. It's this same language.
It's an ordinance to this effect.
Yes. That says that area is rezoned.
Gotcha.
I'll send it out to
Dry
you.
Run Commons, lots 1 through 3. Dry Run Commons,
Phase
phase
one.
1.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Any questions? Action items not required public hearing, approval of a waiver for separate submittals of a replat for lots 51 and 52 North Island subdivision.
Kind of the same process we've done in the past here. We have a request in front of you as far as combining two lots into one to construct a single-family dwelling. In this situation, typically, being it's only two lots, we could almost do that administratively. In this situation, there was an easement that ran between the two properties, so we would be basically eliminating that easement in that area, with the easement remaining in the front yard because there are utilities as far as the electrical and stuff in the front there. But
Is that our easement?
utility easement,
It's
yeah.
a utility easement?
Yeah.
But nothing was there.
And we don't need it?
It's to run the utilities probably to the house is what it was designed for, probably, right?
The only utilities that are there right now, instead of having the electrical pedestals and whatnot in the right of way, between the sidewalk and street, they actually shifted them back on the property line. So that easement was just, we had a 5-foot either side of it, there. But this is just a waiver request, basically the separate submittal, so it's the same process as a replat. Instead of having to do preliminary and final, we just go to the final plat.
So it'll come back to you.
This is just a
After
waiver,
it
it's
goes
a
to the
separate
legislature,
waiver.
yes.
Yeah. Just wanted to have this information in front of you as far as where it's located and everything. It's North Highlands there on the corner of 24th and Oak, basically. 24th Circle, where those villas are. A little bit larger house that they want to put there, so.
And the house will face 24.
24th Circle, yes. Which I just noticed that they've got that wrong on there.
24th Street, I was gonna say, that's not a circle, that's a street, so make sure we get that spacing.
Yeah, he's got a street on there too, but we'll get that addressed. So yeah, unless there's any questions, that's kind of what that is there.
Motion to approve the waiver.
I'll second.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call.
Creachy,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Number 2, approval of the interlocal agreement with Saunders County for wellhead protection.
And so this one is something that Ryan Hurst and I have been working on for about 6 months. We went to the planning commission on 3 separate occasions, talking through the fact that when the city adopted the wellhead protection area within our extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction, that satisfied everything we could control, right? However, the wellhead protection area extended beyond our jurisdictional limits out into the county. And there's always been kind of that, well, we can't go out as far as the wellhead protection area is, so we can't enforce beyond our limits. Would the county be willing to adopt the same language that we adopted, integrate it into the county's regulations under their zoning regulations, and then they would enforce if somebody wants to put something that would be regulated within the wellhead protection area, they have to make an application to the county. The county then provides us the application. We do all the technical analysis to see if there's something that would be concerning about that. We make a recommendation to approve or deny. The county then approves and denies it, and then it goes through. And so the planning commission was concerned that you're going out into a lot of farming communities, and there may be a lot of people that are concerned about what does that mean, does it restrict their existing uses and the like. They never criticized doing this, but they wanted us to go out several times with more and more social media, attempts and that sort of thing to make sure that somebody couldn't come back and say this thing got hidden, I'm concerned about it, and they'd have some cut. And so we did all of that. Ultimately, they unanimously approved it. It went to the county board. The county board unanimously approved it. The interlocal's already approved and signed by the county, so all we need to do is formally sign it. And again, from our perspective, really the only obligations that we have under this interlocal is one, we're again providing the technical analysis, just like we would be if the application was in our area. We're the ones that had the engineering done and the like to try to decide where are the affected areas and what kind of activities are we concerned about. So Ryan and company are still gonna have to continue doing that. And just like if the application was to us, if we deny it and somebody gets mad and does something, we're gonna have to defend the denial. And so those are kind of the 2 pieces to this that are important, but this is especially crucial because our jurisdictional limits, even after we go to a class 1 city, still wouldn't go out to the full wellhead protection area. We've needed this to fully integrate all of those protected areas. So I think certainly Ryan, if he were here, would say the utilities views this as a good and important thing.
Questions?
Motion to approve.
Second. Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while. I appreciate you getting that done.
Been a motion and a second to approve the interlocal agreement. Roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Nagel.
Yes.
Number 3, third and final reading on ordinance 2493, annexation of Dry Run Commons Phase 1.
Motion to approve third reading?
Second.
Roll call and waiver.
Warford,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Okay, are you ready for me?
I think it's up to you, unless you want us to prove it before you say anything.
Melissa, I tried.
We
It's worked
Yeah.
many times tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna, you wanna pass that down and then pass these around? And let's see, I don't have an extra copy, but I can put it. So at the last council meeting, I discussed with you the history leading up to our efforts in working with the Nebraska Department of Transportation's Infrastructure Hub to apply for grant dollars to have some improvements to the 15th Street and US 77 area. And so what you have in this packet of information is a full project description so that you understand what that project is. And just briefly, it's not just the 15th Street roundabout, it actually extends onto 15th Street and into Dry Run and the turn to the south into Dry Run Drive. It also includes then a West 10th Street extension and bridge, so would provide a community connection from 10th Street over Dry Run Creek to connect to the development. So this map that you have included, which is this one map right here, actually shows you the project areas. Any questions on what the project includes, or what the grant application includes? Okay, so then the next page is, I guess, what does this cost? And before we get into that, I actually want to take a minute and really thank the public for stepping up and providing their input and their contribution to our grant application, because just some things that were pulled from the questionnaire that the community submitted. We had, I'm trying to find my page here. We had 364 responses which equates to approximately 7.5% of our total population, which that's very good for a project like this. And you can pass this around, but this is a graphic that was created by the consultant we're working with that shows where these responses came from. So it wasn't, even though we just shared it on social media, we had 265 of those, of the 365 responses came from the 68066 zip code. So you can pass that around if you're curious about where those responses came from. And one comment in the grant application that we're working on that really struck a chord with me is, sorry, I'm trying to find that. Overall, satisfaction with the intersection averaged 2 out of 5. 5 being very satisfied, with those who indicated that they use the intersection daily, 229 out of 364 response, being most likely to rate the intersection at a 1 out of 5. So 229 people are rating this intersection as it currently exists with a 1 out of 5, and that's a concern. I guess that just explains that, you know, they go on to say open-ended responses also reflected the community's desire to avoid the intersection whenever possible. Some of the quotes that they are cited: kids in front of me get nervous and inch out, and then go halfway across and stop. On multiple occasions, I have seen high school-aged kids pull out in front of oncoming cars and semis trying to cross 77 going east or west to get into town or school. And they have those sprinkled throughout our grant application. Someone doesn't need to die before we fix this, and I think that's, you know, we talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, and I think that's why I am here asking you to make a financial commitment to this project. So I guess that takes me to, and there's lots of information in here. I think some things about Wahoo that help create a very strong application. It is a competitive application. You know, like I always say, half of Nebraska's population is located within 45-minute radius of Wahoo. Over 33% of Wahoo's population is under 19 years old. These are just statistics that really are supportive in meeting the criteria that they're going to measure our grant application against. So I guess as far as the need goes, I think it's a very established need, and from an economic development standpoint, the development with the Dry Runs Commons is something that will be very positive for Wahoo as well. So if you turn to this page that looks like this, you'll see total project cost is estimated to be $12.5 million. That's a big chunk of money, and that's why we're landed at this grant application versus having a conversation about partnering with the county for a congressional directed spending allocation. And so, according to the consultants that we are working with, to be most competitive in our application, most federal grants are an 80-20 match. So 20% locally funded, 80% grant dollars. That means that we need to come up with $2.5 million. And so I have had conversations with the developer. In the last page of the packet that I have, there is a commitment by the developer of Dry Runs Commons to assist in that, making that local match of $1 million, provided that we are able to come up with the balance to meet that 20% match. And I don't know, maybe this is, you want to say anything, or you want to? Okay.
I'm happy to answer questions,
Okay.
but you are way more involved in this. Tyler's been involved from our end, and
Yeah.
he's out of town, so.
Okay. So that leaves a match that I guess as city administrator, I am supportive of taking a stand of committing to $1.5 million. I will say, I have had some very frank conversations with the state team that I've been on these conference calls over and over with. And I have information from them that say, at this point, because this project is not written into their plan, their 5-year plan, 1-year plan, all of those things, they don't have the financial resources to commit any amount of money to this. But if we were awarded the grant, they would absolutely revisit that and see what they can come up with to participate in the cost. So, I understand that position. I also understand that this grant application came about very quickly. Like, we've only been working on this for about 30 days. And I know, I guess I feel strongly about Wahoo participating in it. We benefit from any development that would happen along there. These are our people, our residents, our family, our friends that run through that intersection on a daily basis, and it's gonna be us that are impacted when something terrible happens at there, because inevitably it's going to if nothing is done. So I think the state understands that as well. And I believe, based on the conversations that I've had, that they would find a way to financially participate. So, any questions? I'll be quiet now.
So the other, first of all, thank Rob for making that commitment. I think that is
Very nice.
very noble and awesome. Thank you very much. But, so where do we come up with the other 1.5? What is our strategy or thoughts of that extra?
So, this project, if was awarded, would be spread over 3 years, 3 to 4 years, from design and right-of-way acquisition, which I think we have in our timeline is 18 to 24 months to go from nothing to actually being ready to select a contractor. And then DOT, based on their crystal ball or their experience, I guess I should say, estimate that it will take 2 construction seasons to complete the project. So that's 4 years. And I think while it is $1.5 million is a lot of money, I guess my thought was that we could commit a portion of our highway allocation funding towards that. We could issue bonds to be able to pay for that. And I think, I guess that's just where I'm landing.
Yeah, the reason I
Yeah.
asked this, but I'm sure that question will come up.
Sure.
So do we commit to a dollar amount or a percent? It's $1.5 million, or it's
Well,
different, the 20%?
It's in this resolution, I have, the city of Wahoo has received a letter of
20%.
financial support from JO Investments, Inc., developer of the area in close proximity to the project site, committing $1 million towards the completion of the project.
Sure.
The city of Wahoo, through adoption of this resolution, is hereby committing financial resources of $1,504,864 for this project to bring the balance of the local match to 20% of the estimated total project cost. So it is, together, those meet 20%.
Yeah. So then
It
if
changes.
the cost
If it
increases,
comes in at 13 million, then
or 20%, you
You
come
can
up
do
with
state highway that we're committing city funds to repair, as far as I'm
Well,
concerned.
they
right,
may
to
just do it
fix
for the interchange improvements.
the fact that it was, I can't say you poorly designed, I guess you didn't know, you don't know what you don't know until you get into it, and at this point, we know it needs to be changed, so that's a state highway, so if the state comes back and says, yep, we're willing to go ahead and commit some funds, one, it's interesting to me that they're gonna do that, knowing they don't have to, if we already have. the
Yeah,
city
that whole
committed
thing
to it.
has played in my mind as well, like,
Right?
and
And like, oh, well,
we're
here's a
saying,
dollar.
oh,
You
the
know?
city of Wahoo will pitch in
Right.
$1.5 million, and they're willing to pitch in $1 million. The state doesn't have to do anything.
That's my thought, and then if they do, if they are gonna come back, you know, and say, all right, yep, we're willing, we agree, this is our highway, and realistically, we should be taking over a good chunk of that, at least, you know, I realize some of this is our own bridge in town, which is the one thing I can get behind real easily. But if they did decide to come back with that, and they say, okay, we'll throw whatever, 10% of it in, where do we start with that, right? I mean, and this is where, honestly, the question is, you know, we're getting this $1 million, which is amazing as far as I'm concerned, that's fantastic. Is that something we're committing to any of that back, or is anything the state gives us coming straight toward the taxpayer? Or if the state decides to participate, is that coming out of the grant end? Where does that come from if and when that happens? Because I would love the idea that if we say, yep, we'll commit $1.5 million, but if the state's willing to throw in $1.5 million, that comes right out of ours first, because it's a state highway that we're committing city funds to fix, as far as I'm concerned. So I guess that's
I've
where I'm
given,
wondering
I've
how
given that
plays out.
some thought, and I think, I can't speak for the developer, so, but on the city side, if we're basically, I don't know, what does it work out to be? We're 60% of the local match,
Sure, yeah.
right, and they're 40.
Mhm.
If the state comes in and says, we'll throw $1 million into this, I think maybe it would be most fair to downsize on that same ratio.
I don't disagree. That's what I was trying to understand to begin with.
Yes.
Are we getting made whole first, and then if the state come back and said, we're gonna take on the whole 20%, are we taking part of it, then giving theirs back, or is it?
And I haven't talked to the developers about that. But I,
decisions.
yes, right.
It's curious to me to be able to dive into this and say, we can go up to that number, but knowing that there could be some coming back and how that plays out is a curiosity.
And
I would just be.
Because again, I still have this thing of like, that's a state highway, it's just weird to me that, it'd be like me sitting at the end of my driveway and saying, well, I don't like the road in front of my driveway, so I'm gonna pay to fix it, and maybe the city's gonna maybe give me some money back for that someday,
Sure.
but it's mine, and I've just put money into fixing the city's highway, like, it's just weird to me.
I agree with what you're saying, but at the same token, I also look at that long term, that develops out, that's more money, effectively coming back to the city.
Again, I'm the one using the road in front of my house more than anybody, right? So I understand why I would wanna do that, but at the same time, it feels awkward that that's not mine and I have no real control over it.
And
More so, I appreciate the stance of maybe being proactive
Yeah.
instead of waiting
I-
for years of stats. I like
I
that.
don't
idea.
disagree, and I don't think, you know, sit back and wait for the state to do some commitment for it,
We could
because
be
as you
waiting a
mentioned,
while, yeah.
man, the first time something happens out there,
Or
it's
right
bad
at the
enough.
intersection, yeah.
It's,
that's exactly the point that I was gonna, like, I've played through this in my head a lot, and we have seen and experienced in this community the cost of doing nothing,
right,
right?
right.
And I don't know that that's a path we wanna go down. Do I think should be responsible for making this improvement on that highway when the state is bringing forth pieces of projects like to get 4-lane all the way into Omaha and calling this a designated freight route and we're an alternate to I-80? Do I think that makes us responsible for doing that? No, but it's the impact that it has on our community if we sit back and we do nothing.
And I think it does speak volumes to say, listen, we know this is our community, and we know it's a problem enough to say that we're willing to put in on it, and our local developers are willing to help out as well, so I think that
Yeah,
speaks volumes.
I just
I
gotta
agree.
find a way to do it.
Yeah, I think we're looking out for the community. I totally agree, and I think that this may help force additional action.
And if we approve this, we're committing that $1.5 million, and anything we get back is great.
I just, like I said, it's one of those things, I agree, I'm not making an argument that we shouldn't be doing this. I'm just making an argument that the state should also be doing this, so if and when
They
we get that figured out, how does that resolve itself down the road? 'Cause I don't want
Yeah, I played around with language in this resolution of how to say that. Like, we've had conversation, our grant application is not final. And there may be some language that's included in the merits, the project merits, that addresses the state's willingness to participate, so that may balance this. But I just didn't know whether it's appropriate to put, like, in this resolution, the state has expressed a willingness to commit. Does that mean then that we don't need the grant funds as badly as we do, or?
Right, or do they think that means they can
Right.
lessen their end of it? Like, oh, cool, we already have 20% from the city, and if the state will put in 20%, we only have to give, 60 instead of 80.
Well, if we don't get the grant, it's not
And I
happening.
would,
Right,
Right.
yeah.
So our time frame, we get approved, if we get approved, it goes through numerous, I mean, we're 3 years away from needing cash.
Yes. Well,
Gives us a little time to
a
plan.
little time to
The
figure it out,
finance
yes.
committee has plenty of time.
So, we come up with the finances, and we already got some form of approval, or, yeah, we'd be willing to do that from the state to even change that, because it is their highway, we can't just change it without their permission. So if we have the funds, they're willing, they say, yeah, we let you put around
The-
in our highway?
The conversations I've had with the staff from the infrastructure hub, the state is on board with doing this, and it checks the box as to why the state created the DOT committed money to staffing this infrastructure hub. Because their goal, if we are not coming to the table and trying to get this grant money, they're not gonna get it. I don't think, anyway. So it's bringing federal dollars and local need and local projects together to help the state check more boxes, do more projects. And things.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess my thought isn't so much, like, it's infrastructure, if we were building a road, that's one thing, but we're changing the road, I'm assuming this knocks it down to one lane before it gets through there. Maybe I'm not seeing that fact correctly, but either way, we're changing how, and have they done a study on it and said, yes, this is necessary, or somebody you come through and say, no, I think the intersection's fine, that's not something we have to worry about.
So,
This is what I'm
going
saying.
back, a couple years ago when we did that first, traffic impact study for this area, that, data was submitted, that traffic study was submitted to their traffic engineers, and their comments were added to it, and the recommendation from our traffic impact study was the roundabout.
Okay.
Right, so they're very aware that this is the desire, and even in the actual merits criteria, it talks about that the roundabout is the safest and most efficient method of getting people through that intersection. It's the,
So if
Well,
this
that's
state-
what I'm saying, like, we're not gonna get through all this, and then they look at it like, nah, we don't wanna put a roundabout in there, and then we jump through 97 hoops for no reason.
And county has nothing to do with this. This would, if the county has anything, that's farther west.
Going further west on that.
Okay.
yes.
Or could the county have some? They could contribute if they wanted to. Or
Well,
not
that's an idea.
I do think they're looking at allocating funds on the county road extending out.
Yeah.
So I would imagine
Past
you
this.
get heavy resistance from them to also help with that intersection and that addressing the gravel road out to the development.
That's
To the
their
west.
problem.
Yeah.
Any more questions? So if you're so inclined, what I would be asking for you to consider is this resolution that is in the back 3 pages of your, provided Jobin doesn't have any tweaking.
Well, again, your resolution has a dollar amount, but it really focuses on 20%, whatever that. So it's gonna be a sliding number.
Well, it builds
It does
into-
say to bring it to the balance of the local match to 20%, so that could go up without coming back, because we're saying that much
We're committed
or
to.
to the 20% balance.
Right.
Also built into this total project cost, if you look on this page, is $2 million of contingency.
Okay, that's helpful.
So I I sure hope that, I mean, there are unknowns that can happen, but
I think some of that was specifically for cost escalation from today to projected construction.
that's a healthy contingency in my mind, but,
20%,
huh?
nearly 40%.
Better than nothing.
I don't have a problem with the resolution at all. I'm just making sure we're aware of
Yeah.
our budgeting process and where that all fits in as well. And this does give us some time to.
Say, if it was purely that intersection, I might struggle a little bit more with investing purely in the intersection. But, you know, roughly $4 million of that is to help in the 10th Street area and add additional streets into what is purely Wahoo city streets, which exceeds the investment that we're making. So to me, that
Plus the potential to the
Right.
west,
Right.
which really opens up some housing
Yeah.
potential over there
I-
in a safe way.
Yeah.
It's not on a gravel road, so.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you said, but if I can interject as a citizen, like I witnessed one there that I can't believe we didn't lose somebody from Wahoo. I watched it and, but for the grace of God, he stopped the moment before he got smoked in a T-bone. And so the commitment to watch out for our citizens, regardless of the fact that it is a state highway, is commendable. So
Yeah.
very much
Well-
appreciate that. But I understand your.
I just think of like the
suggestion.
other intersection where we didn't have any, you
Yes.
know, that was, we could go the same petition and fight the state to come fix their road.
Yeah,
In this case, we can kind of jump the card a little bit, if you will,
yes.
and to me, it makes sense because at least we have this other piece of it that we can fall back on and say, our investment primarily stays within the city, and we got federal dollars and things like that to pay for the rest. Because again, if it was purely state road, I would have a lot more trouble with it. My play would be, we're gonna go back and petition the state and beg and scream and holler and jump up and down like we had to for the other intersection. So anyway, that's.
I like that that this resolution has been proactive. I do.
Again, we've seen what happens when we're not, right?
I
And I don't want
absolutely
to
agree
play
with
that
that.
game.
You're absolutely right, bro.
I'd make a motion to approve the resolution.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded for approval. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Creachy,
Yes.
Grapple,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Warford.
Yes.
Thank you.
I just wanna make a comment about the infrastructure hub. Because there is hands down absolutely no way we could apply for any of these funds without them. They have asked me questions and said, can you find this, can you find this, can you find this? And I have funneled it to them, and all of the product that the work that they have done is, they have a design team, and they have a benefit cost analysis team, and they have a grant writing team, and that's not something that, we would have ever been able to accomplish, without that, infrastructure hub and the staff that they have on hand at DOT, so I think
They've
it's
been
been a
very
very
aggressive,
positive
yeah.
experience for me, and we're not,
Purely a DOT department.
yes, yep, and it was kicked off, well, I don't know, 3 years ago, is that
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what, yeah. Yeah, and that's what they're there for, is to connect communities and counties with federal dollars.
I think just kind of the way this started versus where we're at now shows their ability to weave once they kind of understand ultimately what the project is and where your best chances are. And I would agree, been super impressed with them. One other thing I would say just in regards to the question about if the state would come in with funds, I guess what I would say is you have a partner in this. And so exactly what that would look like, I don't know, kind of off the top of my head. I would say, you know, if the state came in with funds on the highway, we'd probably say, you know, can we split that? But you have a sense of the size of commitment we're willing to make this whole thing go. And so we'll be at the table to have a conversation and figure out the best way to partner with the city to make all this happen for the good of everybody.
We certainly appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, item 5, approval of purchase of snow removal equipment.
So in your packet was information that was put together by Joe. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to fully review it. Previously, I came to you with a request from him to purchase a used what, I don't know, F-550 or something, a heavy duty truck with a plow in the front. So I took that back to him, and in the meantime, he had come across this program with Freightliner, I think, is that right? I think that's what it says in there. Offering a lease, basically a lease to buy. They would finance the purchase of a single axle truck with all of the stuff loaded on it that we need. And their interest rates were listed in the information that is in the packet. Joe and I have spent a lot of time talking about this. I don't think it's possible for you to deny that there is a need when you look at the age of our trucks. I know that we don't use them, it's not like we're using them half-time during the year, but if we have a snow, we have to be able to provide that service. So,
And there'll be more roads for them to maintain.
right.
Yeah.
Some of the things, and I'm sure if you called Joe, he would take you out and show you the pieces of equipment. I've heard him say that there's holes in the floorboard, so you see the snow where right? They're all, the ones that he's looking to replace are manual transmission, which, knock on wood, we haven't had a lot of accidents with them, but they can lead to that. They're more difficult to drive. And if you've read this information, I think what he would like from you is permission to purchase 2 of them. Would be a total investment of $500,000, and that would commit their truck budget for the next 5 years. Now, I did have a conversation locally to talk about interest rate, and I think it's 5.7%.
5.5.
5.5,
You'd
yeah.
be better.
Right, and so if we could talk about local borrowing and then committing the $100,000 a year to make those payments. I think we're gonna, in Joe's terms, that gets us over the hump with our old equipment and, yeah. Questions?
As opposed to new, or as opposed to used, which I know is, and I know he explored that option.
Yes.
So where I was trying to map out is, what is our true expectancy of a vehicle, because it's pretty easy, right? If we wanna spend $250,000 on vehicles that are new, or we're gonna buy vehicles that are 10 years old for $150, I'm just trying to map out what's our cost per year, right? How long do we expect a vehicle to run? If if a vehicle can run till it's 20 years old, we're gonna get 20 years out of this one and only 10 years out of this one. Well, yes, it makes sense to just buy new so we can get the full 20, because by the time we gotta replace the other one in 10 years, then we're just talking about spending more than the 150, so at which point we're behind, right? So to me, it makes sense to buy new that route, but if it's, we get longer years or less years out of it, or there's a bigger drop off in the used market, I guess I don't know enough about that market to say whether or not that's the right thing to do.
I know Joe, I guess the 2 things I would say about him is that he is always on the hunt for the deal in the vehicle, and I think you've seen that from the things that he's brought to you and the opportunities he's been able to take advantage of. So if he doesn't think it's a deal, he's not gonna be bringing it to you, because he treats it like it's his own money, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that if you have gone down to the shop, or you have seen some of the things that he's done in the locations where the street department was previously, or out at the tree pile, or if he gets 2 new trucks, they will still look like 2 new trucks in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the maintenance and the care. And I don't know that we have had that as high priority in the past.
So to me, the new makes a little more sense, especially if we can get the interest rates and stuff to do, because when you buy used, I mean, you're hoping that you're getting a quality vehicle. You don't know that. You don't know what problems
Traded
you're
for a
gonna run
reason.
into. And there's, the maintenance and everything else that comes with those used vehicles. At least with new, we're gonna have a warranty for, I would assume, the first couple of years. So, that takes us money ahead at that point, so.
So all I was thinking, I guess I go to things I know, for me it's the fire trucks, right? When we were looking for a new aerial, a brand new aerial is about 75 or something like that from the way we got it. Well, I'm figuring if you can buy a new one or a used one and it lasts 15 years as opposed to 25 years, but costs almost a fifth of what the other one costs, well, I can buy multiple used ones throughout that time span and never have something that's 25 years old. So it made more sense to go used, right? In this case, though, if we're saying, I'm buying one that's 10 years old, so in 10 years, it's gonna be 20 years old by the time ours is only 10 years old, and the used value of it because they hold up better. So I guess it all depends on where does that value drop off. Our fire truck, new to used, drops off very quickly. And it looked like in these, when he was talking about 10-year-old vehicles are 150 or brand new is 250, well then the drop off isn't nearly as big, we're much better off buying new, right? I guess that's what I was trying to understand is where that drop off happens.
Well,
And I assume that happened out, and that's what I was trying to look at in this, and I couldn't get to it this time, so I wanted to ask about it.
So we buy two and get rid of three?
And so he's asking, on that sheet, he's got 3. If you scroll back up a hair, he's got 3 there that are 5, so instead of 9, no, 4. Oh, 3. No, 4, yeah, there's 4 of them there. He
Well,
said
the other
three
one
is
that's
clear.
to go is just a standard
Or the next
pickup,
one
that's
to 3 years.
1,500, so that's just a half-ton pickup is the bottom one there, so.
Okay,
So he's not trying to get these to replace that. These would be the big trucks that do the heavy pushing and hauling of the snow when they snow blow the downtown streets.
okay. And the
That's
haul
all.
isn't one of them either right now that needs to be done. It's not the tandem, it's the other 2 that he's wanting to replace here, basically. Because you're talking, these are plow trucks, so when I look at
Well,
the
the top one's also.
description
snow
for being
maintenance.
used, one said haul and the other 2 say maintenance.
Well, but it's a
It's
snow
snow-
maintenance slash leaf haul.
leaf haul,
Okay.
right, yeah.
So it's a snow maintenance truck.
1, 2, and 3.
So he's talking,
So these
1, 2,
2,
and
and this
3,
one.
yeah.
Oh,
One,
so
two,
all
four.
3 of those can be dropped in favor of these 2 new vehicles, we can get the job done with these 2?
Yeah, I don't know whether he's intending to get rid of all 3 of them, or
Just
whether,
hang on
like
until they junk out.
the maintenance leaf haul, I think sometimes they keep a terrible truck to haul tree limbs, cause
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
Gets
Just
beat up.
gets used.
yeah,
Unless we-
same way as you have your old pickup that you haul grass.
Well, I just, when we say we're using 5 years of budget, right, in order to purchase these vehicles, which his department, he's gonna know more about it than I do. I'm just thinking, does that mean in 2 years, one of these, there's another one that still needs to be replaced because we just burned up 5 years worth of budget?
Current budget is
Is that gonna be 5 more, is that gonna buy us 5 years before we need something else?
Like, he gives them 50 grand of room each
Okay.
year.
Yeah,
He's
correct.
150
So
bucks.
it'll be, at the end of 5 years, you'll have 250.
Still have some money, okay.
He's got
Great.
some of them.
Yeah,
He's got that
and
now. Great.
It's not,
he's gonna replace
Yeah.
one
Okay.
regular pickup though, and
Yeah.
that's gonna take
he has,
100,000.
he has the records, but the maintenance cost for maintaining these has been, I think we would see a significant drop in that as well.
Fair. Great.
I guess if you're so inclined, then I would put together a official proposal request for bids from the banks for the local borrowing, and then probably bring the final to the next meeting for your approval.
So this is what I'm talking about, this is where I get caution here, right? We're talking about twice as much for a vehicle that's 5 years newer. You're going brand new for 260, or you have one fully outfitted for 125. If a truck is supposed to go 20 years, we're only getting 5 extra years for double the money.
Yeah.
So that's where I think the used isn't necessary, I mean, again, you're picking up
I
somebody's
don't know if
problem
you can say
somewhere.
you're
along
only
the
getting
way.
5 extra years though, because how many miles and how used is that vehicle?
That's what I would say,
don't
that's
know.
what I'm saying, I don't know. And like you said, somebody's getting rid of it for a reason.
And if we know Joe,
I agree that Joe knows what he's doing. That's where I'm always cautionary. I buy some brand new vehicles for personal, and I buy some used. I mean, there's,
How many?
what are you looking to
Just
get
under
done with
95,000.
Right.
95,000?
And that's where I thought, right there, that's the perfect example. Like, well, it's half the price for a 5-year difference.
And those guys don't know how to drive them, honestly. They go through so many, big cities go through so many street maintenance guys, they're replacing them every year. 5, 6 new guys every year driving these trucks, and they're not experienced in driving big trucks. They just need bodies that can drive an automatic truck. And that's the other thing, these trucks that Joe has are manuals. That's
Oh, yeah.
anti-theft for today's
They don't know how to drive.
people don't know how to drive them.
I'm not saying it was.
So everybody's now buying automatic because you can train somebody to drive an automatic, they take their test in that truck, it lists on their CDL that has to be an automatic, but it's no big deal to us if their CDL says automatic or not. If we have automatic trucks, they can drive either one.
You have a comment, Chris?
I don't. Thank you.
So are we,
Here's that one. Oh, see, now we're getting pretty old.
so are we just,
If you're okay with this idea, I'm going to, I guess I would like you to make a motion that you're committed to this, and we'll do the work and bring it back to you for final.
I'll
I'll make that
I would
motion.
love to see him get those trucks.
Second.
So approval to move ahead.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion on that?
I have a motion and a second.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call.
Sweet,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Horford,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Crowell.
Yes.
Okay, mayor's comments, the only comment I have, appreciate the 3 council members all filing for reelection. And,
You made it.
I got a very direct text that said, this is the last time I'm reminding you. Well, then I better do it today,
No,
because
I
she's not
was-
gonna tell me again.
it was
That's
meant
not
to
how
be
she
the-
worded it, but that's what it said.
That's how we heard it. Yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
So I'm not gonna hound you about it anymore, if you decide not to, it's up to you, this is the last time I'm gonna remind them. Well, this is the last time we get a reminder, it's probably time to do it.
I better do it.
Never forget after this.
I was kind of a shock when talked to your wife and said, yes, he is.
Yeah.
Going to file. Council comments?
When we talk about the audit, that's next meeting? This one?
Yes, we will have that on the agenda. I intended for it to be on
Okay.
this agenda, and I missed that. We didn't make that.
Yeah, I looked down, we're still down to 7, what a minute left, sorry.
I'll add
Down
quickly
3 in overtime.
for Carl, that on Saturday night is the fire department John Anderson, that the city council and mayor are all invited to, so.
Yeah, that's happening, I won't be there this year,
I would love to be there on Saturday, just not feasible. My daughter.
but, yeah, we have show choir and the basketball tournament on the same night.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
There's a lot of shouts.
Maybe it's.
Yes, John Anderson, sweet, have fun.
Hey, did Buffy give you,
339?
Christina, my W-2 to bring over?
You have to ask Christina.
We brought it back into overtime.
Did Buffy give you?
Well, last night, before we started talking,
Yeah, she did, I left them on my
and then
desk.
when we were talking,
I
we
didn't
still